Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to the end of the weekend and to the fourth episode of New Podcast Plus. We've got myself here, Omar the Octopus Banat, Ethan the Megalodon Brawn, and
That's
Tristan
me.
Stingray Reyes.
Hello. What is this? Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Tristan, you're new to the site. You're
Sure is.
relatively new to the site. What do you do around? What do you do around culture of gaming?
What I do around culture of gaming?
Yeah.
Well, currently I'm a news writer, so I'm kind of just like find news that happens throughout the day, and then
Okay.
I go ahead and write them.
Neat.
I've been doing a lot of that myself recently, so.
Yeah, you post one like every day or something.
2.
You're insane.
Yeah, I've read some of your stuff, Tristan, and so far it isn't awful, so that's good.
That's the highest
like to hear
compliment you
that.
can give.
I love hearing things like that.
So yeah, search,
Well, I
search
assume
for
you like
Tristan.
Nintendo.
Search
I assume
for
you like
Ethan.
Nintendo to some. Yeah. Search for me. Search for Omar. Or Omar, you don't write as much.
I
as
write
you edit.
occasionally. I actually just had a
Oh, well, you don't
PSVR
write.
review
Oh.
go up recently.
Okay. Sweet.
It was not a great game.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Oh, what was that? Arcus Path.
That was a couple months ago. It was Smash
really?
Hit Plunder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. You just go around, destroy everything, suck up money, and then you go back and you keep doing that over and over again. And yeah,
Oh man, that's rough.
that's it.
I think this is okay. So this is my first appearance on your
Oh
Nintendo
yeah,
podcast.
you're right. Actually,
Yeah, first official appearance anyway.
Right.
And then also obviously Tristan's first appearance. Yeah, I was on it before, but that was an entire ordeal.
that was the Smash podcast that we had leading up to Ultimate, and then you could not be heard. But
Yeah, that was a fun technical difficulty.
definitely seeing your audio levels moving right now, so that's good news.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic news. Should we talk about a little bit of our Nintendo
Absolutely.
background too? Okay, so pretty much I have been. I wouldn't say for like the first 15 years of my life, I was pretty much exclusively Nintendo. You could call me in the same vein of PC Master Race. I was kind of part of the Nintendo Master Race, I guess, if you want to call it. That's definitely
Sure.
toned down a lot recently, but I still am primarily Nintendo. My favorite game of all time is a tie between The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask and Super Metroid. I'm still hoping for an awesome like reimagining of Super Metroid in the vein of Metroid Samus Returns or Zero Mission. Anyway, yeah, Nintendo means quite a lot to me, and I'm glad to be on your Nintendo-centric podcast and talk about Nintendo news.
Yeah, well, thank you
Heck
for
yeah.
being on.
Yeah, no problem.
Tristan, how'd you start out with Nintendo?
All right. Well, when I was like a little baby boy, I complained that I wanted to play the Mario game for no real reason. So then my parents got me the Mario game for the Game Boy Color, right?
Nice.
I thought it was the coolest
Was
thing
that
ever.
deluxe?
I think so, yeah, Mario Deluxe,
Mhm.
where it had a bunch of mini games for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
okay,
cool.
okay.
And then I got Nintendo 64, and then I played Mario 64. I thought it was cool. I couldn't beat it though. And then I got all the other stuff like the GameCube, and I beat Luigi's Mansion. I thought it was cool.
Oh yeah.
Then got like a Wii and didn't get a Wii U, and now I have a Switch.
There you
That's my
go.
history.
That's the
He's
way to
back.
do it.
He's back to Nintendo.
Skip the Wii U. No.
I should also mention you said you used to be a little baby boy. I was a little baby boy much less longer ago than you were.
I was gonna say he still is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm only recently an adult. And so my first Nintendo console, I guess, would be the Wii. I played a lot of Mario Galaxy on that, but the Nintendo console where I first like really fell in love with video games would actually be the Wii U, which is really interesting considering that was kind of the low point of Nintendo's. That was
Great
an
for you.
interesting. Yeah, I know it's a little hard because I'm still a little burned by the people that left the Wii U. Tristan.
Yeah.
And So
No,
anyway,
I definitely get what you're saying with the Wii U, because up until then, the Wii U was actually the first Nintendo console that I purchased on my own. And up until then, I was playing the PS3, just kind of like, this isn't gaming. I don't know. Is this something I want to stick with? And then I got the Wii U, and I was like, yes, video games are awesome.
Do you
I
guys
agree.
think they'll bring back Wonderful 101 from the Wii U?
I
Because
hope
I never
so.
played that. They have to. I
I'd
never
imagine.
played that. Ugh, I heard it was cool.
All right. So now that everyone knows you're not fake fans, we can
Yes.
continue on here. So, Culture of Gaming, we've got a few social media pages that you should check out after the podcast. If you're listening on Twitch, well, you've already found us there. Or YouTube, you've found us there, both at Culture of Gaming. Facebook and Twitter as well. We've got you can find us there at cog.net. Not quite sure where we are right now with YouTube followers. I know we were inching towards 100, so we can finally get that that actual name instead of whatever the string of characters we have at the end.
Yeah, we
of
got
our
it.
YouTube page.
We got it.
We did.
we got it. We're at like 107
Nice.
subscribers right now, so you can go to
Nice.
youtube.com/culture of gaming, and it's official. It's great.
Hey, that happened.
I was that one subscribe.
Nice.
Hey, congrats.
Yay.
All right, so we owe you something, probably. Not really.
And of course, you can also see all the details about the links to Culture Gaming in the description or in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. So
Woo.
that's nice too.
For sure. All right. Now that we got the boring stuff out of the way, let's head into the news of the week. So, we got a big one starting off. I believe it was Thursday, maybe Friday morning. Sometime later in the week, we got the news early in the morning that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be scrapped by Nintendo and handed off to Retro Studios, the developers of the first 3 Prime games, and Hunters as well. There were a couple little extra tidbits from Game Informer's senior editor Imran Khan on Twitter, where he revealed the reason why this was all changed was just because it was pretty much a dumpster fire in some places. They were trying this ad hoc development, which is done by a lot of different developers, like the bigger ones like Ubisoft, Rockstar, and then it was going well in some places, he said, but then others it wasn't living up to Nintendo's standards.
So
Yeah,
real quick,
go ahead.
not to contradict you, I believe I saw that tweet that Imran Khan sent out. I
Yeah.
don't think he was the one that actually went into any detail about the development of Metroid Prime 4. He just mentioned Metroid Prime Trilogy has been ready to go for a while, and it should have been released. It should have been announced last month. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think he
mentioned
mentioned
that
anything
as
about
well.
Prime 4. Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, that was the next thing I was going to go on to, is that he was just kind of surprised by the fact that Trilogy was supposed to be announced in December. He said not necessarily at the Game Awards, but for sure it was supposed to be last month when it was revealed. And then just this news coming out kind of gives him more reason to understand why it wasn't announced last month, just with Metroid Prime 4 being delayed so far out. So how do you guys feel about Prime 4 being scrapped and this confirmation that the trilogy is on the way at some point?
Tristan, I'll let you start.
So it's straight up scrapped, like the Final Fantasy VII demo. It's just they're not going to use it,
So
using a different engine or something.
everything that had been worked on up to that point, they're just doing away with that, and then it's beginning new with Retro Studios.
Hmm.
And we're not sure
Metroid
exactly
Prime forever.
when this happened, but it's fairly recently since Nintendo just revealed it.
That's kind of disappointing that they like scrapped all that. Like, I want to know how much like time they had to spend on it. It's just not
Right.
going to get used anymore. I only played like Metroid Prime 1, I think, and that was on the GameCube.
Well, that's the best one. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people would say that.
Mm-hmm.
and they'd
And I
be
thought
right.
it was pretty cool. And they're just it kind of a shame because Metroid Prime seems like it would be like a good game to just put on any new console Nintendo's making.
Mhm.
And now that like Switch kind of like getting scrapped and they just have to make a new one, make probably like a couple years or something. It's a bit
Right.
disappointing.
Right, and right now there's not really anything like it on the Switch, so it's something that they definitely need. As much as the Switch has been doing well, it's definitely a genre that they're looking to add to their library. FPSs, that is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Frankly, okay, so I actually really appreciate Nintendo's approach to this. I really love that. First off, they're one of the few companies that will just scrap an entire project like this and restart from the beginning. I think Blizzard and Valve are two other companies that you'll see them do that very, very often. They'll only put out a game whenever they're very, very confident about it. And because of that, Blizzard and Valve and also Nintendo have created some of the greatest games of all time. So I'm totally on board with Nintendo doing this. I'm happy to see the community's response to this. I haven't just kind of browsing around on Twitter. It doesn't seem like there isn't any sort of an uproar over this, and I think that's partially due because of Nintendo's kind of announcement. They were extremely transparent in that one video they put out. They were. It seemed like the guy. What was his name? It was one of the development heads over at Nintendo.
I think it was Shinya Takahashi.
Right.
Possibly.
Okay, that's the guy. He just talked for 3 minutes about kind of respectfully, humbly saying, "Hey, we weren't proud of what we'd built up so far, so we're gonna scrap it. We're gonna restart. We realize some of you won't be entirely happy about that, but we think we will be able to create something entirely." Up to par with our level of standards, and because of that transparency, I think that's the reason that there hasn't been some sort of uproar over this, and I really think it's great.
You want to talk about transparency? I was just talking before we started the podcast. I pulled up my Switch to play a little No More Heroes, and there on the news, I saw that Metroid Prime 4 development video. It's just right there, right when you turn on the Switch, right in your face.
Which is really, really, really crazy. I mean, I mentioned whenever you were talking about before the podcast that entire news section is kind of an interesting facet of its own. I haven't checked it in a really long time, but it's kind of just a hodgepodge of a bunch of Nintendo news and Nintendo indie news and developer updates and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, just check it. Yeah. There's all sorts of stuff there.
And let me tell you, if you create some other region accounts on there, that just messes with everything, because then you get all these Japanese sales and sales from the EU shop.
I haven't been able to disable it ever since I created my Japanese account. It's a mess.
Yeah, it's all right though. It's fun to see stuff from other countries once in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. So something a little more positive next. We've got some great news from Nintendo that the Switch is the fastest selling console of this generation up to this point, which is 21 months in. It sold 8.7 million units in the US. And besides just the Switch selling well, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was the 5th best-selling game of last year. And that's ridiculous considering it was out for like 24 days in the year. And it was able to
that is nuts.
It was able to get to the 5th spot, and that was actually not even counting digital sales, so it's possible it could have even been higher.
Good God. Wow, that is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
They have a few other little details here and there. They're saying that the eShop sales have grown by 105%. Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 sold over 4 and 5 million respectively. Mario Odyssey hit 4.7 million. Pokemon's got a couple million, and Mario Party has 1.4 million sold. So everything's going well over at Nintendo. What do you guys think is going to happen, though, for this next year? What do you think might be that? Probably not quite as fast-selling as Smash Bros., but what do you think is going to be the big seller for this year?
No, gosh, I don't know. We're kind of unsure on Nintendo's year so far. I
We can
mean,
make up some
True.
speculations if you want.
sure. Let's
That's the
pull
fun
some
of
stuff.
it.
Let's pull some
Alright.
stuff out of the middle of nowhere.
Is it Mortal Kombat 11 coming out on the Switch?
It
Oh
is,
yeah, that's
yes.
true.
Yes. That's
I don't know if that'll necessarily do gangbusters on Switch.
Yeah.
I know that's before Doom and Skyrim didn't do particularly wonderfully on Switch, but
Yeah.
I'd rather play on the PC.
That's
awesome.
that's the thing. If there's ever a PC release, I'm more likely to head towards PC than Switch. But if it's an indie game, I'll definitely go Switch over PC.
It's just easier for me to record on the PC, personally.
Sure, yeah, that's true. But yeah, I personally think this year it's probably either going to be. I was almost going to say Fire Emblem, but it's going to almost assuredly is going to be Animal Crossing if it comes out this year, or Pokemon, really, actually.
Mhm.
Because Fire Emblem is a lot bigger now than it used to be, but Animal Crossing is still more has a wider appeal than Fire Emblem.
If they could, if they can get away with that Persona 5R coming to the Switch, I think they got something.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Whatever it is.
Again, I kind of feel like it fits in that category of Fire Emblem where it's almost a bit more niche, even though even though it's even though it's a bit of a niche genre, it's still a good seller, but not quite as big of a seller, I guess you could say, as something like Animal Crossing that reaches out to all different categories of gamers.
I mean, that's the thing. We've got a lot of dates that we frankly don't know yet. There's Luigi's Mansion 3, there's Animal Crossing, Bayonetta 3. I would imagine. I don't think Bayonetta 3 is coming out this year, but Mansion 3 and Animal Crossing I could see coming out by the end of 2019.
Yeah,
Nintendo's been doing a good job of hitting their release schedules within like a year or so. That happened with Mario Odyssey and that happened with Smash Brothers, where they kind of just, like, Mario Odyssey was officially announced early 2017 and came out by October. Smash Brothers, same deal, where it was announced like May last year and came out by December. So I could see Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion making it out this year. Obviously, Metroid Prime 4 is out of the question. Bayonetta 3 seems like too much of a major IP of theirs, and I don't think we've seen enough gameplay for that one. But
yeah, it's kind of in that category of that Metroid Prime was, where like, yeah, it's coming eventually, it's in development, we just haven't seen anything about it, so could be 2019, but probably not.
As far as kind of relating it back to Nintendo's success last year, I think it was interesting. I don't think you're going to debate me in saying that last year 2017 was one of Nintendo's strongest years, like, ever in a very, very, very long time.
You say did you say 2017 was?
Yeah, 2017 was.
Yeah, for sure.
So, kind of coming off the heels of that, 2018 by comparison was not as much of a hard hitter, but I think these numbers have still proved that it's very much a presence, like very much a presence in the gaming community, in the gaming industry. Nintendo really has carved themselves back into the market, which is extremely exciting. Extremely exciting.
I think that they may have sold more consoles and made more money this year, but they probably sold more games, or had better games released 2017.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. There was some more, more positive news, kind of. So Nintendo released another little video on YouTube. This one was detailing some information about the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Open tournament in North America. So pretty much what this is, you can enter one of three. Actually, you can enter all three if you want. They have 3 different times. Or you can enter into a tournament that's online, and then you just keep moving on. And then if you get to the top spot in your region, they have the country, or I should say the continent, split up into 4 regions. Then you move on to PAX East, where they have the top players play there in person. Yeah, it's pretty neat. The only thing that I wasn't a big fan of was the rule set, which
What's that?
included. It didn't include all items, but it included smash balls, and it was timed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is this their first time doing a tournament like this?
I think so, because they did the invitational, but this is like anybody can enter and play online. I should probably get you those qualifier dates are February 2nd, February 16th, and March 9th. So I went ahead and registered, but I can't say I'm looking forward to it, just because it's so, this rule set is so different from what I actually usually play. But I mean, I guess it'll be
They could have kept the Smash meter. I think
fun
that
to give it a
better.
shot. Yeah, that was actually one of the things that was odd, because I feel like the Smash meter is more balanced than the Smash ball, but that's just me.
That's weird. I think Nintendo is still trying to get a
Capcom Pro Tour. So.
Yeah, they're still trying to get a grasp on the whole fighting community thing, just in the same way they're still trying to get their fingers around online.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit difficult because that's not traditionally not the kind of games that they make, but
Right.
Too much stuff to worry about.
Yeah, the funny thing was, in the reveal video, it showed a couple of Treehouse people playing Ultimate together, and then like at the end of the video, one of the guys was like, "Yeah, no items." It's like, "Nope, there are items."
No items? No items.
Just kidding. All right.
Fox only.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fox only.
everyone has to
Final
play Fox.
Destination, or sorry, Omega stages. All right. So Ethan, what have you got for this week?
Oh, I've got a exciting bit of kind of Nintendo related news. I don't know how directly connected they are to it, but work for if you're excited for Detective Pikachu, then you should be excited for what comes after Detective Pikachu, which is more Detective Pikachu, according to Hollywood Reporter anyway. Apparently the sequel to Detective Pikachu is already in development. And it's being written by what's his name? Uzi. Dang it, I have a hard time pronouncing his name. Oren Uziel. That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. He's otherwise known as the writer for the upcoming Sonic movie, which I'm sure we're all very much looking forward to.
Don't worry, the writer, not the artist.
He also helped to write the Cloverfield Paradox and 22 Jump Street,
Neat.
as well as one other movie. Oh, and the upcoming Men in Black movie.
Finally.
Yeah, I know
feel
we're
like
all looking for that
that's a wide range of writing.
Yeah, I'd say so. From you're varying from cute Ryan Reynolds to
Then the
upside down.
Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah, well, yeah. Which is a beast in and of itself. So anyway, not too many details here to go into, but
Sure.
it's interesting to see that Legendary is very, very, very confident on this movie based on the kind of reception it hit whenever the trailer came out. Well,
Oh, yeah,
how
for
long
sure.
ago did the trailer come out at this point?
Feels
But
like
a couple months.
Yeah, a couple of months now.
That's insane. The movie's not even out yet. They're like, yo, we got a good sequel coming out.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. I remember that the trailer for Detective Pikachu and the teaser for Toy Story 4 both came out within close proximity of each
Yeah.
other. And I remember the general consensus that week was that most people were more excited for Detective Pikachu than Toy Story 4, which, like, what a weird universe we live in, right?
Hey, Pokemon is ridiculous how popular it still is.
Oh, I'll say it is.
More
Yeah,
people
I mean,
care about
more
Kingdom
than
Hearts.
more than that, though. Yeah, more than that, though, I think the Detective Pikachu is actually shaping up to be a decent-ish movie so far. I might be setting myself up for disappointment there, but I think yeah, it doesn't look too awful.
Yeah, and that Snubbull looked pretty terrifying. You
Yeah,
saw that in the most recent trailer.
I'm gonna buy a plushie of that.
Jeez.
I still haven't gotten over the new Jigglypuff. I still.
Plushie of him too.
I like it. I like that Jigglypuff. Yeah. That's
So anyway,
neat. I'm
So
excited.
anyway, it ought to be interesting. They're definitely planning out far in the future, but hey, if they're betting all their chips on this one, then maybe their investment will be well worth it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure
That's good.
they'll. It's Pokemon, so it'll make money.
More Detective Pikachu for
That's-
all.
Absolutely.
I hope so. All right, so Tristan, you are our Travis Strikes Again expert, so drop
You're
that
right.
news on us.
All right. So yesterday, it was announced that Travis Strikes Again would get a new patch that would straight up add a new opening cutscene at the beginning of the game. And the cutscene shows you walking through a very familiar hallway. If you've ever played Killer 7 10 years ago, you just see a guy walk into a very familiar hallway talking about some vague characters that you kind of don't know who they are. And then the door reveals that the guy who's walking down the hallway is going to meet Badman from Travis Strikes Again,
Mhm.
talking about how Travis killed his daughter or something. And then who's opening the door? It's Dan from Killer 7 in his
Woo!
glorious PlayStation 2 shading that they originally had for No More Heroes. And I think that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Looking at Badman in his like detailed shading compared to Dan's freaking low poly face.
Do you know if Killer 7 was ever on a Nintendo console?
It was on the GameCube.
It was on GameCube. Okay. Yeah, I never played that game, but that's pretty interesting because they were both Suda games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Travis is in both of them.
Nice.
Travis is a guy you meet, apparently.
Yeah, I wonder. I saw something about like a little, just like a little weird room that you can go into after the end of the most recent No More Heroes game, where they talk about they kind of like hint
Oh, you
at
saw that?
where they hint at No More Heroes 3 being in development. So that'd be kind of interesting if the next game it like ties together those two series in some way.
I think the way they presented talking about are we allowed to talk about like the whole scene where they straight up say they might make a No More Heroes 3 in Travis Strikes Again, or is that
Yeah.
just spoilery?
No, that's fine. I don't care.
All right. So basically, like sometime after you beat the game, a bit after the credits, Travis can enter this room, and it looks like an unfinished Unity project room. Not Unity, like like an
Unreal.
unfinished Unreal Engine
Yeah.
room, like with the default character models and all. And you can control Travis from behind, just like in the first two games.
Hmm.
And he seems to do similar combos that aren't like in Travis Strikes Again. And then you walk up to the Unity Engine man, who is just a default faceless model, and he tells you to stop screwing around. This area is for development. We're under development right now. Just come back later. So yeah, apparently they're just gonna make No More Heroes 3 now. Apparently, if that's not the boldest statement in video game releases, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's kind of different to have the sequel for a game sort of announced when I say hinted at in the like secret ending, I guess you could say, of a game. That's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Tristan, could you pitch me on No More Heroes real quick? I have precisely zero familiarity with the series, and I would like to get into it. But could you give me like the elevator pitch on it?
The elevator pitch for No More Heroes.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy.
Okay. No. I wasn't prepared for this, but I'll see how much how enthusiastic about this I am.
The elevator is already halfway up the flight. Just saying.
Okay. In No More Heroes 1, you play as Travis Touchdown. He bought a laser sword online in the city of Santa Destroy, and he gets told by a lady in the bar to go kill somebody with that sick new laser sword. so he's gonna get some, hot tail afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So after the first boss fight, he kills him, and then she's like, "Cool, kill 10 more assassins for me, please." And he's like, "All right, I'll do it, and I'm gonna become the #1 assassin, and I'm gonna and I'm gonna get some piece of that sweet Sylvia right there." And that's the whole point of the game.
So what's the gameplay like for these games exactly?
Well, in the main levels, it's the camera's like behind Travis, and it basically plays like a cool character action game. You could
Okay.
do it had this cool feature where every time you're about to when you finish off the enemy, you just swipe the direction with your Wii remote, and then Travis would swing in that direction, and gallons and gallons of blood would fly out of the opponent in a glorious way,
Oh, that's fun.
and a bunch of money pops out. because
Sounds
you're
like your
getting paid while
typical
assassinating
Nintendo
these
game.
guys. And all the bosses in No More Heroes are like top notch. They like give these guys like the greatest presentation you'll ever see a boss be given. And
Interesting.
Better
then
than-
you get to fight them.
Better than Zelda, better than Dark Souls. I don't know, man. Those are pretty high bars to
Well,
surpass.
I mean, when you like watch the cutscenes and the way how Travis just kind of reacts to all these people, it's kind of entertaining on its own.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah,
I admire the Nintendo games that do not feel at all like they should be on a Nintendo platform, like Bayonetta and No More Heroes.
Yeah.
There's
I'm
something-
glad.
Yeah, there's something special about them.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Good
Very
stuff.
special.
I really hope that they eventually come out with 1 and 2 on Switch, because I haven't
have to.
actually played those, but yeah, Travis Strikes Again is definitely, I'm having fun with it so far. It's not most exciting game I've played so far this year, but it's interesting enough for that I'll come back to it every once in a while to play a level or two.
Yeah, how far are you in that game?
I am not very far at all. I'm just getting through the second game, I guess you could say.
Okay, they throw some really huge curveballs like at the very end, so
Okay.
you'll probably see something cool.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Hmm.
But now we get to talk about the best part of the Nintendo Switch, and that's the indie games, which actually Travis Strikes Again is one of those. Ignore that.
Sorry,
What? Okay.
sorry, I ate something bad.
Oh, man. Well, let me know
never
if you need
never
an
eat bad
ambulance.
things. I think indies are one of the best things on the Switch anyway.
No, the best. No, just
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
You know how
fine.
much money Nintendo's gonna make from the freaking eShop downloads, dude? They're gonna get a lot of money, man.
Yeah,
Because money equates to quality.
absolutely. I agree.
Yes.
But speaking of quality, there's kind of been a lack of that recently on the couple of bigger name indie games that have released on the Switch so far this year. Specifically, at least what I've seen from Y2K, Postmodern RPG, and Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes.
Yeah.
All the things that I've been seeing online are saying that No More Heroes 3, the existence of that game depends upon the sales of Travis Strikes Again. I'd say if it does, hopefully it sells well. The game is decent, but it's just such a niche title. It's so weird to just be like, yeah, 3 isn't gonna happen unless this game that no one knows about is gonna sell well, that we haven't really pushed very much at all. But yeah, that's just the way it goes sometimes. What do
You
you?
know how No More Hero is like one ended, right? How they subtly announce a sequel at the end of that game. And
That's the
one of
way
the
to do
characters
it.
just walks by and she's like, "Wow." She's like, "I hope." She's like, "I don't think there's gonna be a sequel of this game." And then she holds up a sign for No More Heroes 2. Like, dude,
I feel
get outta
like I feel like sometimes when a developer throws something like that in, it's more wishful thinking. Just like, hey, maybe my game's gonna do well and I'll be able to make a sequel. I know Ethan, you haven't had much hands-on time with Travis Strikes Again or Y2K, but I know Tristan, you've been going through Y2K. What have you been thinking about it so far?
Uh, let's see. Uh, so how far have you gone in the game? In Y2K? Tell me about that.
Well, luckily I haven't
What part
gone
did
too
you
far,
get
so I
to?
won't be able to
You
talk
can tell
too
us.
far. Gosh, I can't even remember. I've gone through a couple battles so far. I was just following that cat through the woods, and I got to this weird place where it looks like everyone is a ghost. But I just don't
They
have
kinda-
time to play that game because
All right.
every time I get into a battle, it just takes minutes for the battle to load, and I
don't think
want
it should
to
take that
I want to actually be able to get into the game, but I just don't have time to wait around for battles to load. It's an
Does it actually
unfortunate.
take a long time for battles to load on the Switch?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the Switch or if it's, I don't know what's going on. If I just got something wrong with my console, but I don't know. It's odd. I'll get into a battle and then I'll just like, okay, maybe this one will load faster. Nope, it's not loading faster. And I just sit there for a couple minutes and wait for it to get to the battle, and then
A couple. That's absurd.
it might be at most 2 minutes, but it's
Supposed to take just 13 seconds when I played on the PC, so that's
interesting.
weird that it's not optimized like that.
Yeah, I mean the thing is it's not a very graphically intensive game, so it's not like it's loading all these huge assets, so it could just be poorly optimized. There was actually something interesting that I saw about the game on Twitter where it's almost like they didn't anticipate people trying to put bosses to sleep, and it would kind of like soft lock the game if you put them to sleep because it would get to their turn and then they just wouldn't be able to do anything. They'd just be sitting there not moving.
Oh man.
Just because they're like, okay, well, maybe bosses aren't supposed to be able to be put to sleep, but they just didn't program it properly. So
I think I tried putting a boss to sleep, but then it just didn't work, so I just stopped using that stupid ability the entire game. I was like, okay,
Sure.
well, there's no point in that. But
Yeah, it does some things in the game in an interesting, like with the battles where it's kind of like timed, like you would have in Mario. I almost said Mario Party, but in Paper Mario.
they are pretty much, yeah. Not
Yeah,
Mario Party.
they're like little mini games for each attack. But yeah, so far, just indie games in general that have been pushed as kind of the bigger ones on Switch have been not living up to what 2018 put out, and like Celeste and The Messenger. And I know it's hard to live up to games that were critically acclaimed and were up for Game of the Year awards, but they're not even close to touching them at all in any way. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, that's just from the few that we've gotten so far, but
Yeah.
a certain video came out that I think
What?
raised our optimism for indies on Switch coming out to the rest of this year
Nani?
anyway. Money?
Wait.
Yeah, you're right, actually. That's a good point. There was this indie highlights video that came out, I believe, Thursday morning. The way they released it was a little odd. It was on the Nintendo UK YouTube channel, and then for some reason, Nintendo's North American YouTube channel released all of the videos of the individual indie games one at a time. It was
That is weird.
kind of a mess logistically, but it got the same point across. Got a handful. I think it was, it looks like 9 indie games. And hey, everyone, if you want to check out Culture of Gaming, Ethan actually has a little summary of each one of those games up on Culture of Gaming.
That's a fact.
Just search for Ethan, or search, let's see, Switch Indie, maybe you'll find it on there.
It's up on the main site. You'll see a picture of a goat from Goat Simulator, which we're going to talk about.
And after the podcast, I'll post a link to the article in the community Discord. So let's see here. Yeah, we got 9 videos, and the list of those games that were released were Wargroove, Steam World Quest Hand of Gilgamesh, Crosscode, Inmost, Forager, And actually, I'm going to go back to Inmost. We got a note here. It says it looks sick. So
Yeah.
Goat Simulator, the Goaty, that comes with all of the DLC for Goat Simulator. Unruly Heroes, Double Kick Heroes, Stardust Galaxy Warriors. That's all of them. So what games are you looking forward to this year for the Nindies?
I've been hearing fantastic things about Crosscode pretty much across the board. I know that Jason Schreier over at Kotaku on his podcast has been talking quite a bit on it, and how it's similar to Hollow Knight, where Hollow Knight technically came out like 2017, but it didn't really kind of blow up in popularity until it came out on Switch, and it's seeming like it's going to be a similar case here where. Crosscode is like this really, really cool, like nice. I don't know I guess it's pixel art, but like a top-down RPG in similar vein to like Secret of Mana or the top-down Zelda games, where you're playing as a character. Okay, get this. You're playing as a gamer, playing
what
an MMO. Yeah, it's so meta. But the thing about it is that this character that you're playing as has been stuck in the MMO, and she's mute now, and she's playing with these other people who aren't stuck in the MMO. In fact, they're just actually playing the game legitimately. And so you're going around talking to these people as they're, talking about typical like MMO gamer trends or whatever. I don't know. I don't play World of Warcraft, but anyway, it's I haven't actually messed around with it myself, but I'm very much looking forward to it quite a bit, and you should too.
What game is this?
I will.
Crosscode.
I will look forward to it.
That sounds familiar. Is Crosscode an anime?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's see. What is? I guess the art definitely looks pretty anime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. It's got these neat kind of Zelda-ish dungeons as well. So
Nice.
that automatically
All right.
upvote in my book.
It does look really cool.
So Tristan, what are you looking forward to?
Let's see. Based off just looking at the art of Inmost as like a indie horror, kind of looks like a Metroidvania sort of deal. I think
Nice.
I'm usually like a huge fan of like cute little horror games like that, and I just kind of like the art style of this game, so it looks pretty neat.
I agree. It looks like a pixelated. It looks like a pixel art version of Inside.
Nice.
Pixelized version of what?
Inside. Have you played Inside or Limbo? Either of the.
Oh yeah. I've seen Inside Limbo. I played a bit of Limbo. I like the puzzle to that.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need more horror games on Switch because there's not really much when it comes to horror. There are a few random things here and there. Yeah, like Amnesia Collection. There was that one that you could use the Pac-Man amiibo with. I don't remember which game it was now. But you could use the Pac-Man amiibo to get this bizarre looking Pac-Man skin for your character.
What
Randomly.
was it? Like Black Mirror, was it called? Or
No.
What?
I don't think so. But
Looking at Pac-Man amiibo.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. Layers of Fear is out. There was Resident Evil Revelations, Little Nightmares. That's what it was.
Really?
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, Little Nightmares.
I know Resident Evil 01 Switch at some point this year.
Oh, nice. So yeah, it looks like they're slowly getting more horror games on there.
Yes.
So when I'm looking at these, I'm kind of flipping back and forth between two of them. Definitely SteamWorld Quest Hand of Gilgamesh is looking interesting to me just because I've actually never played a SteamWorld game, but...
What?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Oh, SteamWorld Dig 2. SteamWorld Dig 2 is like one of my favorite Metroidvanias, man. That's saying a lot because I play a lot of Metroidvanias.
Right, that's the thing. I played a ton of Metroidvanias as well. Super Metroid is my favorite game. But, yeah, I just, for some reason, never got into SteamWorld Dig games. It's not like I couldn't get into them. I just made a choice. I never end up
Maybe it's cooler than you
buying
think.
any of them. But I definitely also love RPGs, so this would be kind of fun to try out. And it looks like, kind of reminds me of Recoded in a way from Kingdom Hearts, or I guess if we're going to stick with Nintendo, then just regular Coded, where it uses cards in the battle system. And I actually kind of liked that, even though I know most people didn't. It almost makes it like a card game in a way, and almost more strategy than just picking stuff from menus. You actually have to build a deck that can complement itself.
It seems like that game that just came out of early access recently, Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, it's similar to this in that it's kind of a dungeon crawler-esque card game where you're battling enemies through randomly drawn cards. It just came out of early access. It's
Each
supposed to be
character you
good.
play as has their own card set, so
That's another
That's
one
very
that's coming to
interesting.
Switch, actually. I forgot about that. That's
Oh,
on
it is?
PC right now. Yeah.
that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Hearthstone on Switch when?
Oh, my gosh.
40 odds.
That would be fantastic. That just makes too much sense, though, so we can't have it.
Yeah. But yeah, the other title that I was really flipping back and forth with between SteamWorld would be Wargroove, and that's mostly because I'm just needing some more Fire Emblem right now. It definitely looks, as far as the aesthetics go, it looks more like Advance Wars.
Yeah,
which
I'd
I
say
guess
so.
they both Fire Emblem and Advance Wars play similarly. But the neat thing that this game adds that those other two don't is the ability to create your own campaigns and like build your own maps, and that just kind of seems interesting. Because I'm always interested in player created levels and being able to create my own stuff. It's never anywhere near as good as the levels that you can just pick up and play there from other people. But it's fun to give a little shot at it, and it's essentially endless levels, really.
Yeah.
And it's going to be crossplay.
Yeah.
Crossplay, yeah,
Nice.
and you can do like 4-player local.
Between Switch and Xbox One at launch.
Heck yeah.
Woo. Thank you, Microsoft. Now just give us Banjo.
Heck yeah.
Banjo for Wargroove right now. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
There we go. Actually, you know what would fit there is Master Chief.
Yeah. Master
That's not
Chief.
going to happen.
Like
Uh,
Minecraft, Steve's Minecraft. Master
Minecraft,
Chief
yes.
skin from
What tangent did we just go
Xbox
down
One.
here?
I don't know. I just said sometimes I can't help but start talking about Smash Bros. Let's see. Yeah, we got indies. So before we head out for the week here, what do you guys think we're gonna see coming up? Do you think we're gonna have a direct anytime soon? What do you think we're gonna see from Nintendo?
Should we have a direct? Yes, we should. Give us our direct. Tell us about all the new indie games, Nintendo,
Yeah,
right now.
I agree.
I
Yeah,
think they just did that.
I was yeah. I was
Even
actually
more.
I was just thinking about this recently because I feel like the Metroid Prime 4 news is almost an indicator that there will be a direct coming up soon, because what they wanted to temper expectations for the upcoming direct and not make people think, okay, this is where we're finally going to get some Metroid Prime 4 news.
Right. And it would have been really, really strange if they had uploaded that kind of, not apology, but like that cancellation video in the middle of a direct. Yeah. That would have been very strange.
Because it was like it was in the same format as we would normally have a direct, where there's just the Nintendo exec standing there facing straight towards the camera.
I bet it was the same green screen.
Jeez, why do you need a green screen if the background's white? Just get a
I-
sheet. No.
Well, that's a pretty white background. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Rooms are pretty white, just saying. Generally, I don't know.
All right, so it looks like we have finally reached our end for this week. It's so sad. Does anyone have any parting words?
Kids, don't play. I don't know. No, I don't
Fortnite.
have any parting. I was.
Don't spend all your parents' money on V-Bucks, even though
Don't do it.
seems like a good idea right now. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Get
Don't
Ganon
do it.
out of low tier, everybody. We're gonna get him out of there. I assure you.
Someday.
I was not doing my bit to help today with that.
What do you mean?
I play Ganondorf in Smash Bros.
Oh, I see. I got you.
Having a little rough time today.
Aw.
Aw.
You got
It's
taunt
alright.
after every attack. You one hit kill him all the time.
No, well, you can't taunt online, so you just gotta keep crouching.
Oh, you're right.
That's what everyone
Smash
does.
Brothers. Smash Brothers online problems.
They've all been solved.
Perfect. All right, so where can we all find you, Ethan?
I am on Twitter at Linkachuchu, Linkchuchu. You can see me retweeting and tweeting about random movies I'm watching, Smash Brothers, and probably more Metroid.
Nice. And you, Tristan?
You can find me on Twitter at TNT Rays, and I also have a YouTube channel called TNT Space Rays. Don't get them mixed up.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
And I'll
How do
try
you
to
s-
upload videos.
How do you spell Rays? Is that Rays as in?
RAYS. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sir.
Hey, that's appropriate given your icon is a Metroid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking at Isabel the whole time. Sorry.
His Tristan the Manta Ray Reyes.
I'm a cool hip Ray.
Exactly.
What did you say I was again?
You're Ethan the Megalodon Brawn.
The
Megalodon?
Yeah,
Come again?
they look like a giant shark, but they're extinct. So sad day.
Megalovania.
Just call it a shark. What the heck? Nobody knows what a megalodon is. Oh,
Hey.
get your fancy vocabulary
Call me a
vocabulary out of here.
Jeez, everyone knows what they are because of the Meg. Have you ever heard of that movie? Right, the Meg.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I
Let's
got
have a
Yeah,
separate
that's what it's
podcast for
about.
that.
Yeah, so tune in next week. We're gonna have our deep dive on the Meg.
in our entire historic piece on the Jurassic world of megalodons.
Exactly, you got him.
Heck yeah.
You can find me on Twitter, your host, Omar. You can find me at OBBANAT. And I'll post about whatever I feel like, whenever I want, except when I'm at work, because that's not a good thing to do. Don't tweet
There
while
are-
you're at work, kids.
There are no strings on Omar except when he's at work.
Yes, 100% puppet. No. I run on batteries. All right, so thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Tristan. Thank you, Ethan, for coming on. And everyone else listening, not watching, maybe next week we'll have some video for you. But thank you very much for coming along with us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.